What is going on, guys? Paul Ryan back at it again. Kind of a big day for Cowboys fans, aka Cowboys Nation. Jerry Jones, of course, never disappointing, always giving us some material to discuss, some content to create, right? He was asked, or here, actually, this is a better way to put it. I saw on Twitter that Jerry Jones said that there was no urgency to get the CeeDee Lamb deal done, right? And of course, people are going to react to that. And then CeeDee Lamb responded by saying LOL, which is laughable, right? To think that your star receiver, you're not trying to get a deal done. You're not urgent to get a deal done. That's laughable. However, shout out to Nick Harris of DallasCowboys.com for giving some clarity. The direct question was, is there any urgency to get the deal done during preseason, which Jerry said no, which makes sense. I mean, you would think a deal would have been done by now. You would hope a deal would be done by now. It's not, but I don't know if just because it's preseason that makes it more urgent than it already was, right? That being said, guys like Jalen Tolbert are benefiting. Jalen Cropper, he's benefiting. Jake Ferguson, he's benefiting, right? And speaking of Jalen Tolbert, Brian Broaddus said that Jalen Tolbert, not a wide receiver 3, not the wide receiver 3, looking more like the wide receiver 2, getting open on all levels. There was the joint practice between the Rams and the Cowboys. Brian Broaddus was kind enough to share some nuggets on that. And he was saying how Rico has looked like the best running back on the team. However, he hasn't really done enough to take the starting job away from Zeke, which is, I don't know. I mean, you could, if you want to be optimistic and say, oh, well, that means Zeke must be looking pretty good too. Or pessimistic and saying, well, maybe the Cowboys just want Zeke to have that starting job, right, because of their history. And that's kind of what Brian Broaddus alluded to, saying that he thinks that the Cowboys really want Zeke to have that starting role. So we'll see what happens there, but nothing from the other running backs, which I didn't get to hear at all, so maybe some of them did something, but I didn't hear much of that. Another thing, he said Marshawn Nealon looked really good against the run. I didn't get to see too much of him as far as pass rush goes. And then rookie linebacker, Maurice, I always get it wrong. I don't know if it's Luafu or Liafu. I believe it's Liafu. Saying, man, this guy's looking really, really good. Mike Zimmer loves this guy. He brings everything you want in a linebacker. He brings it. Love to hear that, man. Just, again, I've talked about it every week, but these linebackers, man, just their different skill sets and what they can bring to this defense, it's so complimentary. It just gets me really excited. Now, some not necessarily bad news, but Bobby Belt, Cowboys insider, he was talking to the guys on G-Bag Nation, and he was talking about the team, right? And I couldn't believe when I heard this. But he said that with the issues at left tackle, the uncertainty at left tackle, the uncertainty at center, with CeeDee Lamb not being present, and the defense, with the defensive line kind of being not set outside of Micah and Osa, who do we really have, right? With Mozzie not really playing very well, being really inconsistent. Of course, Marshawn Nealon being a rookie, and then DeMarcus Lawrence just being an older veteran. Bobby Belt said that this Cowboys team was looking like an average team, that they looked like a 500 football team. Now, he of course, with Dak and CD and Micah, those guys, it's unlikely that the Cowboys won't, win 9 or 10 games, right? But the fact that he was saying that and thinking that, that's kind of a scary thought. And there was something it made me think about something that I wanted to say a while ago, or a thought that I had rather, but I never got around to sharing it. But this season feels eerily similar to the 2019 season, right? Where Jason Garrett I think he was on the last year of his deal. We just made a change at offensive coordinator, and I believe Rod Marinelli, might have been on the last year of his deal as well. And there was just a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of, but there was just some uncertainty heading into the 2019 season after firing Scott Linehan. Everybody's excited about that. But the Cowboys just imploded. I mean, the Cowboys started off strong that season. Their offense was high octane, high powering with Kellen Moore, taking over the play calling duties. But then we saw the bad loss to the Saints where we got embarrassed. We saw the loss to the Jets where we weren't embarrassed by the Jets, but it was an embarrassing loss because we lost to the Jets, and it just all unraveled from there. I mean, we had the embarrassing loss to the Bills on Thanksgiving. Just anything and everything that could happen did happen, and we were right there all the way to the end. And of course, everybody remembers that final play against Philadelphia where Amari Cooper's on the sidelines and like the most important play of the game. Cowboys end up controlling their own destiny. Controlling their own destiny in a sense. Actually, no, they didn't. They if they had beat the Eagles, they would have made it to the playoffs. However, they end up losing that game, and then they win the following week. However, the Eagles win as well, eliminating the Cowboys from the playoffs. But then we saw Marinelli get fired. We saw Jason Garrett get fired. Right? I don't know why, but I wouldn't be surprised if this team was somewhat similar to that. We haven't really seen a bad year from McCarthy outside of 2020, but what could we really expect when he had the worst defense, an all-time bad defense, and he lost his starting quarterback after 5 weeks? I don't know, man. Sometimes it's like a numbers game, right, where things just happen because it's the odds of things happening, right? And it's going to happen at some point or another, and I'm not saying it will happen, but I kind of, there for a while, I was getting the vibes just because of that contract, the McCarthy contract, of course, the CeeDee contract, just kind of getting those vibes. I mean, yeah, we even made a a coordinator change, right? Bringing in Mike Zimmer, letting go of Dan Quinn, just getting some similar vibes to that 2019 season. Of course, do I want it to be that way? Absolutely not. But that was something I was thinking about after hearing Bobby Belt mention that this team was looking average, dare I say below average. But I hate to end on that kind of note, guys. I do apologize, but just something to think about. Let me know what are you guys thinking? Football season's getting closer, the week 1 is getting closer, right? But with the uncertainty at offensive line, with the lack of depth, dare I say talent on defensive line, are we in for a strange season where our luck runs out for a year and maybe this season just blows up in Jerry and Steven's face and it's like a wake-up call type of season? Hopefully not, right? But we'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, I hope everybody's having a good night. I'm Paul Ryan. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.